Okay, this is the beginning of the backside of that worksheet. And there's just a couple things that I wanted to also mention that 19 through 24 is a continuation on the previous side. They want you to simplify these without using your calculator. Okay, and you may have to check yourself here just to make sure you're doing them right. But the idea is that they've got to use some special number relationships to give you a situation that's simplifiable without a calculator. For example, 22. There's two things I notice there. I'm taking a cube root of a negative number, but I'm also raising it to a negative power. Now we haven't had any negative. 19 is a negative power. So is 22. So is 23. It's important that you remember what a negative exponent does in these situations. Okay, so on number 22, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do two things here. I'm going to rewrite that so that um, the negative exponent on the outside is positive, and then I'm also going to simplify that number under the radical a little bit. I know that the cube root of negative 27 can be written as negative 1 over 3 to the third power. Okay, that is 27, 3 to the third. Okay, now I'm going to raise that, or excuse me, I'm going to put that under the third root, and I'm going to raise all of that to the positive fourth power. Okay, so all I'm doing here is rewriting it so that some things will ultimately drop out. Okay, so I've got a cube root and I've got a cube. The cube root of negative 1 over 3 to the third is just going to simplify to 1 over 3. That power and index will cancel out. There still is that 1/4, however, okay, that 4 up there, that positive 4 up there left over. Now, if you take the fraction 1/3 and raise it to the fourth power, that means to take the 1 to the fourth power and the 3 to the fourth power, you get 1 over 81. Okay, there's your answer there. Okay, on number 23, similar. The negative's out in front. The reason the negative has to be out in front this time is if the negative is on inside, we're doing square roots this time, and we can't take a square root of a negative in the real number system. So by moving it outside, I can still do it. This is going to be the square root of 1 over 25, and that's going to be raised to the third power. Okay, now 25 is the same thing as 5 squared. Or if you want to think about it this way, you square root the 1 and square root the 25. The square and the square, or the square root, this thing simplifies down to negative 1 over 5 to the third power. Okay, and that is negative 1 over 125. Okay, so answers like that are appropriate, but again, try to break the number down so that it has a base with a exponent that's equal to your index. Okay, that's your hint, that's your clue there. Okay, if you can do that, then you can get those to cancel out. Okay, on 25 through 32, those are simply just calculator problems. Okay, one of the things that you can do with those, okay, that helps a lot. You know, for example, on number 29, to use your calculator, under the math button, you will find a cube root, but you'll also find, for these other problems, you'll find an x root, okay, an x radical, okay, if you type in the index and then go to math and then find this button right here, then you can click on it and then type in whatever's underneath of it and hit enter, and you'll have your answer. Okay. Yeah. So, or if you want, change it to a rational exponent, and then you can use the caret key. So, for example, on this one, 29, I can write this as parenthesis negative 112 parenthesis raised to the negative 4/3 power. Now, on your calculator, you would use negative 112, and then there's a caret key, and that should push it up to as an exponent. If it doesn't, use parentheses. Go parenthesis negative 4 divided by key, and then parenthesis, and then 3. When you hit enter on that one, it said round to 2 decimal places. I ended up having to go a little bit more because they were going to be zeros. Maybe that's what they intended, but I got 0.0019. Okay, with my calculator. On 30, same idea. If you change that, that's 6 to the 2/6 power. And you can reduce that. That's 6 to the 1/3. And again, use your caret button, that the little thing that points straight up there. And then I got 1.82 when I type that one in. Okay. On 33 through 40, we're solving equations, okay, this time. And these equations all have powers, okay? Here's what you want to do with these, okay? The first thing you want to do is make sure that you've got the exponent as the next term to solve, okay? So, for example, on 35, the first thing I'm going to do there is I'm going to add the 7 over. Okay? That gives me x to the 4th equals 10,000. Now, if you take the 4th root of both sides of that equation, it's a special one. You just get x equals 10. Okay, there's your answer. Okay. Now, so in this case, we needed to add the 7 to both sides first. You may have to subtract. On number 38, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to divide. So move it up just a little bit again. So if I divide both sides of this equation by negative 12, then this becomes x to the 4th equals 4. Okay, you can't take the 4th root of 4. Okay, so my only option here is I'm going to take the 4th root of both sides. So the 4th root of x to the 4th and the 4th root of 4. Okay. And then simplifying that, I get x equals, because it's an even index, I'm going to put plus or minus the 4th root of 4. Okay. Another one that's a little bit messier is number 39. I'll help you with that one there, and then we'll kind of call it quits and see if you can finish it from there. So first thing I'm going to do is on this one is I'm going to cube root both sides. Okay, so this is kind of the priority operation, the cubing. So I'm going to do that first. So cube root of x plus 12 to the third equals the cube root of 21. Now on the left side, the cube root and the cube cancel out, leaving me with just x plus 12. Good, that's quite a bit simpler. That's more of what I wanted. Okay, on the right side of the equation, the cube root of 21, I can't do anything with that. There are no perfect cubes that go into 21, so I'm going to have to leave that alone. Okay, so not everything will be able to simplify down. Okay, but I still haven't solved for x yet. To finish it, I'm going to subtract the 12 over. Running out of room here, so I'm going to combine that. So x equals negative 12. The positive comes negative, plus the cube root of 21. Okay? Okay. So hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this gives you the little bit that you need to help finish these problems. The next section that we'll be talking about here is going to involve the rules, exponent rules, that we can tie into the same information. The problem is it's going to require us working with fractions. And that's not everybody's favorite topic, but it's something that we need to be able to do. So we'll look at those rules first, and then we'll look at some of the problems on the next worksheet on the next video. Okay, thank you. Email me if you're still having questions.